Do you find yourself searching through your fabric stash for the perfect coordinates? Do you strive to be more confident in your color combinations? If you answered yes or just love fabric, then a subscription to Goody's Color Club is for you. Goody's Bundle Club is a quarterly subscription program with carefully curated fabric bundles by me sent right to your doorstep. I handpick every fabric in each delivery with 12 half-yard pieces, which will only be available to Goody's Bundle Club members. In addition to an exclusive Stash Builder bundle, each delivery includes a booklet of information on the fabrics I have chosen, the fabric designer, additional fabric suggestions to use with the bundle, and quilt patterns that would be a perfect pairing with the fabric. Hi, my name is Gudrun from GE Designs. Welcome to our live show, Tipsy Tuesday. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Tipsy Tuesday show. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, so wherever you are, thank you for being here. Hi, everybody. Make sure you say hi in the comments, introduce yourself. Tell us where you're tuning in from, and you want to stick around throughout the end of the show because we have a giveaway every show. Wait till we give out the giveaway question at the end of the show. But if you're new around here, make sure you follow us if you're watching on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube and have some fun today, okay? Send us some hearts and some thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. I've got lots of fun for you today. Of course, we have some brand new fabric in the store that I would love to show you. We've been a little thirsty for fabric. Of course, I am going to be talking about our newest addition to our store, Cuddle fabrics, a little bit. We're going to be talking a lot about that in the next few weeks. And I also have a great tip of the day for you. So let's dive in and start right off with our winner from last week. Our giveaway question was, what is the last movie you watched? And our winner, Mr. HP, is behind the scenes, of course, doing all the important stuff.
You're late.
Kathy Cornish. Kathy Cornish, congratulations. You have won a $25 gift card, so send us an email to help@GEQuiltDesigns, and we will get you all the that gift card right away so you can go shopping. Yay. How are you doing today, honey?
I'm great. Hi, everybody.
You're very colorful today. I had to swap out the quilt behind it because it was just too much going on. It was too much going on, but very nice sweatshirt. Oh, you have Ariel. Yeah. Ariel, we have, is one of our retreat quilts, of course. Retreat is coming up this week. Everybody is on edge, excitement going on, including us. I have 2 retreat quilts behind me as well. We have the Nikki's behind me. The one on this side, the beautiful greens, is made from Happiness Blooms. And then the one on the left is made from Secret Winter Garden. And of course, the Ariel is also made from that same bundle. 2 quilts from one bundle along with a background fabric. And both of these patterns will be available early summer for purchase. So we always have an exclusive pattern for the retreat. So just, you don't have to wait too long to be able to purchase them. They're both really fun. Hey, Nikki?
No, Nikki, you're so fine.
It's hey, Nikki, you're so fine.
Hey, Nikki, you're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Nikki. Okay.
She is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and she is fine in every single fabric that we've tried for her, and I'm making another one. So this is my 3rd or 4th. You guys know that I don't like to do the same pattern twice, but this one is really fun and kind of exciting to try it in different fabrics. So I love it. Now let's talk about retreat then a little bit. We are counting down for session 1. It starts on Friday. So how many more sleeps? 3? Wait, yeah, 3 more sleeps.
Whoa. Coming up.
Yes, we're excited. And for those of you that are participating, if you want to test out your devices and stuff, remember we have our little test session tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Time. All the information is in your account on that same Zoom link sheet. If you want to join us, please do. It's not necessary. It's just going to be a really quick kind of test, see what to expect, see your excitement probably a little bit. And just for especially those that are new to retreat to kind of get more comfortable with using the technology and see where all the buttons are and everything. So it's all good.
Just come say hi. Hi. It works.
I forgot to tell you guys what Kathy Cornish's winning answer was. I just skipped over it. I'm so sorry. Because I asked her what was your favorite movie, and she said, last movie I watched was Wakanda Forever. Enjoyed it. Cheers to Women. I know, I love it. I actually just watched that movie too. Really good. Good.
Cheers to women.
Yes. Some great female, should I say, anatomy and skills involved in that one. I love it. Loved it. All right, so we did, back to retreat. Those of you that are maybe new here don't know what retreat is. This is our 3rd annual Stripology virtual retreat. Of course, virtual because we were all forced to be virtual back in 2020. And then we soon, even like halfway into the retreat, we realized that virtual retreats really should have been something that came along a long time ago because they don't only pertain to pandemics. It's really great to connect people from all over the world. So we are still providing the full experience. You get something physical. Everybody got a retreat box with their fabrics they're going to be using for 3 quilts, 2 lap size, and 1 table topper. So it included your whole kit, and it included the retreat booklet with a schedule and all kinds of other fun stuff. And then some treats, some gifts, and all kinds of bingo card, thread for you to use. So it's a full experience. We also, recipes for food and cocktails, so you can be ready if you want to participate in that.
What's in your throat?
I think I snuck a little piece of chocolate in my mouth before we started, and it had nuts in it. So there's a nut stuck, a piece of a nut. I always tell you the truth. I could have said that I had a salad. That wouldn't be true. That wouldn't be me. Anyways, so retreat starts is the 3 full days. So we are live on Zoom all day. All of the demos I pre-recorded. So once I show them, and then I go live and we do a Q&A, all of the demos will be then in your account forever. So it's a beautiful mix of being face-to-face, even though we're online. And then you get to rewatch some of the demos so you can take your time. And it's really great. A lot of camaraderie, playing bingo every night, happy hour. What else? Yeah, some presentations. There's some Q&A sessions. It's going to be a blast. I cannot wait.
Some dancing, some
Who's
yoga.
excited? Some yoga, yeah, some dancing. Are you going to do the dancing?
No, you're going to do some dancing.
Everybody's going to do the dancing.
Someone said you need a drink of water.
Yeah, I do have just sparkling water. It did help. Thank you, everybody. All right, so any questions on retreat? Remember that Zoom test session tomorrow? I did deliver all of the cutting instructions and a cutting video last week. Tomorrow you will get the first couple of patterns you can read through before we start. But remember, I always highly encourage you to wait until we start. But then also you will get the playlists. Yes, Mr. HP has put together playlists.
Boom.
And not just one playlist this year.
Whoa. 6.
5. 5 different playlists.
Awesome.
One for each day. You know, includes kind of the theme of the day. And then we have a happy hour playlist, and we have a morning coffee playlist.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, it's fun. So we're excited, and I hope you guys are too. So let's move on to our tip of the day. Tip of the day this time around is a little bit connected to retreat because we will be sewing with strips, and I also wanted to play this do this tip now because as we head into April, we're going to kick off our next strip along. So we're going to be working with strips, and one of the things that I always used to talk a lot about when I taught in person, especially strip classes, was how to avoid those pesky wiggly strip sets or bowing strip sets. So here's the little trick behind completely straight strip sets. Check it out. In many patterns, you're required to make strip sets from different width strips. And so a lot of the problems I've seen in my classes and that my students have asked for, how do you get those strip sets to be straight? And there are a lot of myths out there, but here's the real key. First off, you want to make sure that your strips are cut completely straight and accurate. So we don't want any elbows in our strips, so make sure all your strips are straight. And if you are using anything from a pre-cut or jelly roll, which I don't recommend because they are sometimes not very straight or accurate, but if you are, you can always trim them with your rulers if they are oversized. And then I also recommend giving them a good press before you sew them together, especially if you're mixing some that from a pre-cut and then some that you've already cut your own, because that fabric you pressed before you cut, but the ones coming from the pack you didn't. So you want to make sure to give all your strips a good press before you start sewing. Number 2, we sew them together with our best scant quarter inch seam, and it really doesn't matter which direction you go. So if I am going to be piecing a strip set that is 4 strips, I always break it down to 2 and 2s. I break it down to pairs. If I'm doing 5s, I do 2 and 2, and then I add a third, and then I join. Because we want to be working with the least amount possible So I don't recommend doing 2 strips and then adding one because that can cause our bowing effect. So start with 2 and 2. Once we have those 2 sewn together, all the pairs sewn together, the real trick is in the pressing. So as we have our strips sewn, we want to start. I always like to lay my strip set on an ironing surface where I can keep the whole strip straight. Now, this is for demonstration purposes, so you want to lay your strips straight and then start by setting the seam, so just pressing straight across, and this way you can make sure that your strip is laying straight when you start. Then on one end, I do this, I'm right-handed, so I hold my iron with my right hand. So with my left hand, that hand is doing most of the work. You want to push that seam out with your fingertips and then move your iron straight across the seam as you push out the seam, and you're also keeping your strip set straight. What you do not want to do is use the edge of your iron to push that seam out, because as you can see, our irons are curved. So as you do that, especially if you're using steam, what happens is our seam starts to curve a little bit, and that causes a little ripple effect on our strip set. So you want to try and keep it straight, push with your fingers, and then just go straight across. Of course, we always want to measure and make sure that we have the width that we want. So now you want to join the 2 and 2s together. So it's always better to join bigger pieces. So these 2 together, or you add a third and join them. And that is going to give you the best result and the straightest strip sets that you've ever seen. So there it is, the secrets behind the straight strip sets. Straight strip sets. And straight strip sets. Say that 5 times fast. 5 times fast. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to embarrass myself. But there it is. So if you have any questions on the tip of the day, please shoot. I think I knocked down some myths as well. It's really all about, first of all, cutting them straight. Second of all, seam must be straight, and it's all about the pressing. It really is. Some tips on the sewing as well. Okay, I wanted to put this one comment up because we're so excited for retreat, and of course we had 6 retreat scholarship recipients, and so it looks like Lynette has a friend that received one of our scholarships, and she was there when the recipient opened her box, and she was so excited. So that really warms my heart to hear that. It's really great, and we're excited to have those folks join us. So some of them they're in different sessions, so we'll see. But I hope they really enjoy the experience, and thanks to all of you that donated to that experience as well. Any questions on the strips? What setting do you use on your reliable iron for general pressing, and what setting for using the fusible batting on the reliable iron? So usually I think I have mine on, so the red one, I don't have the red one here, but my red one, I believe I have it at 5 or 6 for just regular pressing. If you're doing the Quilts Should Go batting, so the key to that really is steam. So then I put it on the ultra steam, and I just hold it in place. You can turn it up a little bit, but it's really good to add a little steam when you are pressing, and then wait to move it, or until it's kind of not super hot anymore. Or so let it cool a little bit before you move it, because then once it cools, it sticks. Okay. Any more questions on that?
No, I just think A lot of folks ate their
Is it okay to
snacks.
iron and not press, only up and down movement? So if up and down means across the grain of the seam, so that's really what you want to avoid, because if you're doing back and forth motion this way or pushing out this way with your iron, our irons are not a flat side, so they have that curved side. So that's when you get a little chance of a little bowing in the seam. You can actually try it on a scrap if you want to, and it really does happen. So when we happen to do that, whatever small piece we're pressing, sometimes we do get a little bowing action. So you really want to fold it out and then press straight across the seam, but push it out with your finger so you really pull out all the fabric inside the seam. Do you always have to use steam with fusible? No. So this depends on what you are fusing. So I do this with fusible interfacings and fusible batting, not with the paper-backed fusible web. Fusible web is what you iron on the back of fabrics to do like raw edge applique. So you don't want to use steam with that. So always follow the manufacturer's instructions. So that I was just specifically talking about my fusible batting, the GEZ fusible quilt-as-you-go batting. So it's fusible on one side, and it really just speeds up the fusing process to use steam. All right. Should you always press with steam? Again, this is one of those things, pre-wash or not to pre-wash, steam, no steam. It's a personal preference. I like steam. I like my seams. In my opinion, my seams are flatter and everything kind of works together better when I use steam, when I press. And so, yes, I do use steam. However, one time when I turn my steam off is if I'm in a hurry and I need to spray some fabric with best press or even water, it's going to dry faster using the iron if it's not on steam, because steam is going to add moisture. So we want to get the moisture out, so then you want the dry heat. That's the only time. But I like using steam. Oh, please stand up and let us see your blouse. It's cute. It's patchwork.
It's cute. It's cute.
Yeah. And polka dot sleeves. I love it. Anything that looks like a quilt, I mean, I guess, pulls my eye in, so had to have it. How can I buy the pattern be handling you? I'm assuming that should have been behind you. So this is Nikki. Nikki is not available as a pattern yet, but it will be available early summer, I should say. It's just for the retreat for now, and then it will be available as a single pattern. Do you ever use a clapper? I have, yes, and in certain situations I do. I don't on a regular basis unless I have something that really needs to lay flat where there's a lot of seams coming together or something. But usually my steam and my wool mat. Sometimes I'll pull my wool mat. I don't always use my wool mat for everything, but the wool mat really helps too. And then if you still want a flatter seam, then I use the clapper too. I just never got in the rhythm of using it, and you know I'm all about speed and efficiency. If I made a miscut on retreat fabric and now I am 1 10-inch square short, is that still going to work? Yes. Yes, we have extras. It totally is going to work. All right. Judy's asking about a scant 1/4-inch seam on your sewing machine. I've demonstrated this multiple times. One video that's great to watch that we have on our YouTube channel, you can find it on our website as well. It is called Piecing Accuracy. So it talks a lot about all the different things that come into play when we're talking about accuracy and piecing. And one of the things is using that seam guide to figure out where your scant 1/4-inch is on your machine. So you can either use that and then take your needle over or put a marking on your machine if you are not able to move your needle over on your machine. But you can do that without a seam guide too. You can test if you have a 1/4-inch foot, you can test it by sewing. I usually sew 3 1.5-inch rectangles strips together. I press the seams out, and then I measure. You can measure the middle one, or you can measure the whole thing. It should be 3.5 inches. So it's what we mean by scant is that after you sew and after you press, that the piece measures what it's supposed to measure. So if you have 3 1.5 inch pieces, sew them together, they should measure 3.5. Make sense? So that's a great way to do that. Any help with cutting if you ordered the extra fabric to make it bigger? So here's what I recommend. Those of you making larger quilts at retreat, I say you start with a smaller amount. So that's why I really didn't hand out all the information. I will be, like I said, if you're doing retreat this weekend or on Friday, you will get the full pattern. So you will see it all. But I don't want you to start with all the blocks for a king size. We're just going to work on a few blocks at a time because we want you to go through the whole process just like as you were in a class. So I usually tell people to start with like 8 to 12 blocks and then go through the whole process on all of those blocks. Then you can always go back and start doing all of them, or at least, the next batch. And so it's okay if you only cut for what amounts to a lap size, even if you're doing a larger quilt, because we can always go back and do it. But you will have the rest of it, the information, tomorrow, so you can continue on.
Somebody ate all the snacks.
Diane says, how can we get more of the snacks that were in the box? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Well, we have ordering information, and we'll be showing you more on that. But yeah,
they are delicious.
They are all delicious. Some of them you may be able to find close by at your favorite snack. He gets to pick one snack in the box every year, and so one of them is probably available in most grocery stores. Yeah. And then the others are a little different. Of course, our balls that are in every box are available through the Jewel and Moose. That's online, so you can place your order online there. They have lots of different amazing chocolate snacks. Oh, there's the seam guide. Good work, Mr. HP. Seam guide is designed by my friend Celine Perkins, and I love it. It's just the greatest little tool. Always have one in every sewing machine case. Always buy my machine to check.
Judy ate her snack.
I ate my snacks too.
So delicious.
Yeah, I should just tell you guys, don't feel bad. I was very glad that we had some extras for our snacks.
We had to taste test.
We had to taste test them. Yeah, that's true. We had to taste test them. All right, so if we're done talking about retreat and strip sets, any more questions there? I did the Astrid virtual retreat, but I can't remember what the other one was. What was the first one? Astrid was the first one. And our second one, we did Jewel and Strippy Stairways last year. 2021 was our first one. First virtual one. So, all right. Michelle said she hid her snacks.
Smart.
That doesn't work for me. Somebody else has to hide them. That does not work for me because I know where I know where to find them. Then I talk myself into it's okay to go have some, and that's just a terrible idea. All right. Well, I am excited to show you this next segment. This is about our Cuddle fabrics. We're so excited to be able to carry Cuddle. We have what we have right now, and we will be adding more from other manufacturer. I call it Cuddle because this is all from Shannon Fabrics. That is the most high quality minky. It's a minky product that I've ever seen. It's beautiful, and we have some different sizes on the website. And I wanted to introduce you to you on Friday. I'll have like physical samples so I can show you kind of up close what I'm talking about. But I debated on this for a while how the pre-cuts should be. And as we do with our yardage of cotton fabrics, we have 1 yard and then we have 3 yards. And so I was debating if I should do something different for the Cuddle. So I really had to study what would I use it for. And so I came up with offering the cuts in 3 yards, which makes sense because that's 108 inches, just like our backs, and then 1.5 yards. So you can purchase any of these Cuddles in either the 3-yard cut or the 1.5 yard cut. And so let me explain how, like, my mindset behind that. So 3 yards are available. We have both 90-inch wide Cuddle, which is only the solid print. So there's just solid color, and it's pretty. It's not very long. The minky part, the fuzzy part is not very long, so fairly short. And it is so 90-inch wide. So we have the 3 yard will be 90 by 108, so which works really well up to close to a queen, and at least a great full size quilt or more. Because if you take away 8 inches for the long armor, you can have 100 in length, and then you take 8 inches, you can have an 82-inch wide quilt. Then we have, so the solids are only available in 90-inch. All of the prints and the embossed ones and the luxe hide, which I'll explain later, those are 60 inches wide. And so they are, the 3 yard obviously is 180 inches long by 60. And then the half yard is, so the half yard is 54 in length, so 60 by 54. So the 90-inch half yard is 90 by 54, which sometimes would work for, 2 baby quilts. So that made sense to me. So I thought, use this for backing, a lot for lap quilts, some larger quilts, and I love to use it for crib size quilts, smaller throws, for kids and babies. It's just so nice. So what you could do with the 60 wide 3 yard, you can cut it in half and make a backing that is 54 by 120. So that would be great for, 2 baby quilts or whatever. So also like the 108, the 3 yard length, because if you want a bigger quilt, you can get 2 3 yards and piece them together, and you have a 120 by 108. So a huge quilt, enough for a king size quilt, and only 1 seam. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of tips and showing you going forward on, if you need to piece it, what are the things to think about, what needles to use, and all those little things. So we'll be talking a lot about that if you have never used it before. So the 1 seam, center seam, if your minky or your Cuddle is not directional, you can do 2 widths, so 54 by 120. Now, if you have a 3 yard and a 1.5 yards, you could take that 1.5 yards, cut it on the fold, and piece those 2, so you get 108 length. And so you can make a 90 by 108 with a 60 wide. And I'll probably have to draw it up for you to explain it. So this is why the 1.5 yard made sense to me. I did have a question from somebody, why not a 2 yard? In my opinion, so 2 yards is 72 inches. So you'd have a 60 by 72. 72 backing for me for lap size is usually too small, because your length of the quilt is rarely less than, if you take 8 inches away, that's 64. So that's a pretty small lap size quilt for me. Length especially. Width is not that, width can fit within the 60. So you could have a 52 to a 54 inch wide lap quilt with the 60 wide, but 2 yards or 72 inches is usually not enough for the length. So that's why I chose the 3 yards and the 1.5. It just made the most sense to me. I played all the different scenarios. But if you have any questions, if there's any other ones you'd like us to carry or look into, let us know. We are here. We're just starting. So here's some of the first ones we have. Somebody asked, does it shed? It does not shed. So when you cut it, of course, the seam or the cut, that's going to shed. So as soon as you cut it, whether it's with scissors or a rotary cutter, you want to clean all that up before you start sewing. But after that's cleaned up, it doesn't shed at all. So we'll be talking about that. I'll give you some tips for long arming it. I'll give you some tips for quilting it on a home machine. I love using it for baby quilts for backing. And so when I do my quilt as you go, it works really well. So that's why I figured the 1.5 yard works better than a 1 yard, because 1 yard is only 36 inches by 60. So it's much better to have 54 inches by 60. We'll give you a better dimension. So I love it for that. I obviously, any quilt I put Cuddle on or Minky, those are the favorites in all households that I've given quilts to. So I'm really excited to be able to have more access and play with more different lengths and stuff on the Minky or Cuddle. So the solids, we have some colors. We of course have black and white and grays. We have this beautiful, this is navy. We have a red, which is called cherry. We have, this is, oh, silver. Yeah, so silver gray. We have a teal. We have a green, beautiful basil, it's called, and then a berry, like purple. So beautiful. So they're like solids, and like I said, this is the shortest nap on the fuzz. So it's I think about 1/4 inch. So very easy to work with, especially you get 90-inch wide. It's very easy and great to work with. So here are some of the prints. So they digitally print on the Cuddle. So it's beautiful, and their quality is so amazing. And so here's some of our prints that we have. So these are just awesome. I did ask a question about the color, and this is a polyester product, just so you know, polyester product, and they really rarely bleed. Anything polyester rarely bleeds, except for, they said, reds. Reds, just like cottons, reds are always the culprits. So not really necessary to pre-wash the Cuddle because it does not shrink. It will stay the same. So if you are going to do something with flannel, you're going to quilt a piece of flannel quilt and then put Cuddle on the back, just remember the flannel will shrink, but the Cuddle will not. So you might want to pre-wash the flannel if you plan on putting Cuddle on the back. I don't pre-wash when I'm putting flannel on the back, but if I was putting Cuddle, I probably would pre-wash, or at least give like extra steam when I was pressing my fabrics. So the third grouping that I have is what is called Luxe Cuddle. So these are, it's a little bit longer, but it's a beautiful and super soft texture. So you'll see it's called Hide. This version we have here, it's Cuddle Hide, and so it has a beautiful texture, and this is so soft. I swear, all the guys at the warehouse, they were cutting it, and they just wanted to roll up in it and take a nap. It's beautiful, and the color is so rich and awesome. So we're excited to carry this. Now this is the natural hide, and I have to make a quilt with that on the back for my couch. I just have to. Although it will be speckled with black dog hair. I might need to put something darker too. But I love this stuff, and like I said, I'll be talking a lot about this in the future shows, and I'll show you physical samples on Friday. Hopefully they'll get here on Friday. It's going to be our Happy Friday show during retreat, so we're probably going to talk about it a lot during retreat. We are getting some tools and some helpful, needles. You want to use a stretch needle in your sewing machine if you're going to be quilting it on your sewing machine or sewing with it. I made a quilt for Johan that I quilted on the long arm earlier this year with a very, very long, very, very long Cuddle. It was kind of like blue. It was like Cookie Monster. We call it the Cookie Monster back. But it was so cute. I pulled it off the long arm and he rolled himself up in it right away. I used the Dino Glow fabric on the front. And for that one, I didn't even, because it was so thick, what was really great, I could just cut it with scissors, like really through, and then just kind of peel it apart instead of running a rotary cutter. And so the longer the length of the cuddle is, or the nap, the more fluff is going to be created when you cut it. Do you use polyester batting when long arming with cuddle? I always use polyester batting, so yes, I did that because I don't want that also to shrink. So I probably would recommend that. You probably could use a cotton blend, but because that's not going to shrink that much. And but you probably would avoid something like Warmer Natural 100% cotton because that's probably going to shrink a lot. So we'll be going through all that. We have great experts at Shannon Fabrics that have been guiding us. But what I wanted to finish with that quilt for Johan, instead of binding it and thinking I needed to cut a really thick binding, I actually tried their method of pulling the cuddle around to the front and use it as a binding, because the beautiful thing about Cuddle, it's a knit, so it does not ravel either. So you cut it and it's not going to ravel at all. So I pulled it around and then I just zigzagged it, and that's your binding. And I have a great technique. We mitered the corners, so I did a kind of a wide, it looks like a wide binding where that fluff is coming to the fluffiness is coming to the front. And it was really, really cute. It's his favorite. He sleeps with it all the time now. And so I have to get some pictures for you and show it. Barbara is asking, do you need batting with Cuddle? You don't need it, but just know Cuddle is really, really soft. Because it's polyester, it's kind of slinky and slithers away a little bit, so it's really soft. So if you don't put batting, the batting will give it kind of a little bit of a stability, more like a quilt. But you don't necessarily need it, but your quilt is then going to be more like a blanket. You don't know. We don't call our quilts blankets, but you know the feel of it, just like a little throw blanket. So, so one thing, if you are doing some piecing with Cuddle to lessen the fluff, is they say put it in the, after you cut it, put it in the dryer for like 10 minutes with no heat, and then all the fluff will come out. I usually just shake it out. We actually, when we cut it, just so you know, if you pull it out of our packaging, we vacuum the edges. We make a cut and we vacuum the edges. So there should be not too much fluff when you take it out of the package from us. But I'm going to give you lots of tips. I have a quilt ready that is ready to be, trimmed up. It's been long armed. I'm going to give you some long arming tips, because if you look for tips on the internet, they go either way. So we just tried things and figured out what works well for us. And so we can't wait to share that. Okay, I think that's good. Let's look at some fabric. I wanted to mention before we go into the fabric, don't forget we have One Yard Wednesday tomorrow morning with Colleen. Her show airs at 9:30 in the morning, and it just depends. Whatever is being offered, sometimes it gets cleaned out fast, sometimes it sticks around a little bit. So check out that One Yard Wednesday page on our website. It will have each week's offering, and then also the video, the current video. And I am so excited for this one tomorrow because it's great stuff. So don't wait too long. It might clean out. And we have always limited quantities of those 1 yards. So check that out. Yes, to change the subject, is there an instructional video for Jewel? We have not published it yet. Nope. It was only made for retreat, but we have not published it into kind of a class yet. But thank you for reminding me. We have those somewhere. All right, so let's move on to fabric. I have 2 lines. One that I've been kind of waiting for is called Cracked Shadow. This is Tim Holtz, one of his basic lines. So we did cut it into a bundle just because those of you that like, if you're anything like me, I like to collect these basic fabrics. So this is the print. So it's called Crack Shadow. So it's like this crackle in it, a little bit of typography, just like a script. Can't really read it. So I really love the texture. It's kind of like a little bit like marble, and it's a little bit brighter colors than his provisions. So we have it in the bundle of 12 for all the different colors. We have the orange, and then the really nice warm red. But we have them all in 1 yards, and we will carry them in 1 yards as well. Well, as long as people are interested in that. But here's the beautiful pink, magenta pink. We have a medium purple that I love too. And so as you can see, there's more color in this than like his provisions. And then we have a beautiful navy. I think this one is really awesome. Nice deep tone of navy. The blue really comes through. We have a lighter blue. This is really pretty color as well. And then kind of a sky blue, light blue, baby blue. Not quite baby blue, but I love this color. There's a lot of gray in this one, so it will read kind of a light gray. And then we have a tan, creamy tan. Very nice. We have a chocolate brown. And I love the light crackles. They show up really nicely on this brown. Okay, I need some more room. We have a darker, this is a kind of a charcoal, has a lot of brown warmth to it, so darker than the brown, but not quite black. And then we have a really deep forest green. It's almost like it has peacock in it a little bit, but I really like a little teal forest green. It really looks dark on the camera, but it's really beautiful, beautiful color. And that could be great as a background. It will really bring out some beautiful shades of green. And then we have an emerald green. But as you can see, even though this is more color than we are used to from Tim Holtz, they're all still a little bit muted. They're not bright primary, but it's fun to have a little more color from him. So I didn't do a regular fabric pull since this was kind of a basic, but I decided to pull up my scraps to show you how well these would work with some really unique fabric lines. I mean, obviously all of his lines. I love just a little bit of kind of a grunginess with anything else for backgrounds and stuff. But look how great this looks with my root. I have my root. These are just my leftovers, and I'm not parting with them anytime soon. So look, this would just be perfect to mix in with root because root is so, bold and large scale. So depending on what you're doing, you might want to mix in some calmer hues, but still using some color. So I think this would be beautiful mixed in here. It would you look at it right now, and it just is kind of seamless looking at it. So I really love this, and definitely will be securing some of this for my personal collection. As you can see, anything unique like this, I am saving it all. And I rated the remnants at the warehouse too before I left. The other one I wanted to show you is this line that we have. We do have root bundles. Somebody asked. Yes, we do have root in stock still. So here is the line that I showed you. Was it last week or the week before? This is Storyboard by Seth Apter. It's a future line. It's coming. It's on pre-order. We have it on pre-order now, but this is the little project that I'm working on. Obviously, I haven't gotten that far yet, but I will be showing you what I'm doing with this. I'm going to be making an Ava quilt, and look how great, especially the neutrals are in here. This works perfectly together as well. I didn't have the actual fabrics to show you when I was telling you how great these would work, but Look at that navy. It would be excellent as a background. Some of the orange would be perfect for a pop in here with this one. The red, all of them. It's just really great to see when you have a unique line like this, to have something that would just blend so seamlessly to act as the textured solid without having to use solid, because you have so much texture and art going on that you wanna enhance it. So just to show you, I have 3 provisions that are Tim Holtz. You can see how these colors are a little bit more standout, but yet the browns, like this is the onyx, how it still works really perfectly together with the browns and the charcoal. So excited about this. I think it's awesome. And like I said, it's available as a half-yard bundle with all 12 colors, or in 1 yards as well. So if you just wanted to pick and choose, you could do that as well. So switching gears completely for my second bundle I want to show you. It is beautiful florals, a line called Florence. This is from Kaufman, so beautiful digital print, lots of layers. We've had similar lines before, and I'm totally blanking on the name, of course, right now when I have to remember it. It might come later on. Oh, Venice. Remember Venice? This one, I decided to do kind of a two-toned, but look at this. This is so exciting. There's so much going on. You can pull so many colors with it. So then we have the other prints. We have a small leaves and florals in a little bit darker blue. And then we have these beautiful, look like lilies. See these? These flowers look like they grow or belong in like the planet that Avatar is on, doesn't it? the movie. Yeah, and or Wakanda. Yeah. So then we have this going into a little bit lavender with those blue tones, a little bit of green in there, lots of color. And then that same floral print in a lavender background, bringing in some more pink. And that leaf print in the light lavender. It's beautiful. So then we have another large scale print, kind of bringing us into the more warmer tones. So all of the purples with just these specks of gold and a little bit of green. Beautiful here. And then that brings us into more red with that lavender base, still tying the blue together as well. A little bit magenta. I love the layering on this print as well. We have a lighter base of pink, but the greens kind of tie it all together here as well. And then a full-on beautifully warm red. I'm loving these warmer reds. Have a lot of warmth to them. And then finally, this one is super pretty. A smaller scale leaves all over in that beautiful deep red. Still really warm. So this is Florence. Beautiful, beautiful. So we have, of course, a beautiful fabric pull. I started on the red, start on the red end here. Starting with a hot red, dimples and the fire engine. Matching those warmer reds. And then a little bit warmer, deeper tone of the canvas and the hot sauce. So these two would work great to bring in all of these warm reds. For a little bit of pink, we got the dimples and the scorching pink. And bringing in more of some of the kind of berry colors, violets, grunge, and the boysenberry. I love that it has purple in it, so it's bringing in some of the deeper purple tones. In here, we have a light lavender in the Dash Flow Pansy. Perfect match with that lightest tone, also the base of this print here. And then I wanted to do this one, the Alchemy and the Enchanted, just because it has the deeper purple tones and the lighter in here. So it'll be great to mix in with these. I just love the Alchemies. These are also Tim Holtz that we have in 1 yards, and they can be so versatile if you like that style. So we'll leave that one here. Another one more on the bluer side, purple and blue. This is the Chalk and Charcoal and the Grape. So then we go a little bit lighter blue. I love this one in here, Floral Elements and the Cobaltic. So it has that perfect lighter blue shade, and I love the deeper, darker florals. Looks like it would fit. And then some bumbleberries. We have the Bumbleberries Bright Coastal for the brightest blue, and then the Bumbleberries Dark Blue for the darkest tones. So beautiful mix of colors, and these blend in just perfectly, giving you a little calm. Now, as a background, you could easily go white with this for a really crisp and clean background, but you could also do black. So either black or white. This is another Dimples, the charcoal, so it has not quite pure black, but you could go either way with this. White would look really crisp and beautiful as well. So Florence, beautiful hand on these fabrics as well. They're really nice and soft from Kaufman. All right, any questions on these fabrics? Yeah, I took them outside, and such beautifully vibrant colors. So it was really fun to see outside. All right, so next up is our giveaway question, last but not least. And I figured with these beautiful flowers, and spring is kind of coming, it's coming. What is your favorite spring flower? I have to say, mine is tulips. Daffodils are always kind of the first indicator in my world, living in the northern hemisphere, but I love my tulips. Is that even a spring color? It is, right? It's a spring bulb. So I love that. But let us know in the comments what's your favorite spring flower, and you're automatically entered into our giveaway, which we'll announce next week on our Tipsy Tuesday show, March 28th at 4 p.m. Central. And then our next Happy Friday will be this Friday, live from retreat. We'll just have kicked it off in the morning. Everybody will be working, and we'll be live at 12 p.m. Central Time from retreat. It's going to be a different type of a Happy Friday show because all of our equipment will be wrapped up in retreat. So we'll be on a phone or a little camera.
Yikes.
Not Mr. HP's favorite thing. Because he usually has to hold it the whole time. So start working those shoulders. But that's it for us today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and hopefully we'll see you live on Friday for Happy Friday. Bye, everybody.